What's up, guys? It's me again, the me you don't know, but that shouldn't matter for you to enjoy good stories. So let's get on with the show now, shall we? So we start our story off with a 6-year-old Deku. He's suffering from amnesia, so he doesn't know who he is, or where he's at, or his name even. And our boy Deku here is lost and alone in like the outskirts of a town, pretty far off from the city, and there's pretty much just surrounded by a forest, and all the buildings there are destroyed. They're in ruins and covered in snow. And Deku wakes up from having a really bad dream. Though it wasn't a bad dream, he just doesn't know that quite yet. Or he doesn't realize that it wasn't a dream yet. That he wakes up having this really bad dream, and he's covered in snow. The whole area is covered in snow and ice. As he just wakes up surrounded in it, with these destroyed buildings everywhere, and he gets up, questions who he is, where he is, and he just starts to ponder about what's even going on. Like, what happened? But Deku doesn't have much time to think about that, as he's currently freezing, being surrounded by snow, and having snow just everywhere. Oh, and the time of day, as he wakes up, it's midnight. Pretty dark, so he can't really see that far either. Or he can't see much at all, but what he can see is destroyed buildings and a lot of snow. And he knows he has to get away from this snow or he'll just freeze to death. He doesn't even know how he's still alive, even though he just woke up from a big pile of snow. You'd think he'd have frostbite or something, but no. So Deku decides the one thing he can do is go into the forest and search for firewood and shelter. As really he's just going to wander about and just hope that he'll find something that he could use to warm himself up. He doesn't even bother to check if any of the ruined buildings have any useful things he could use. He just thinks that since they're destroyed, and everything inside might as well be too. So Deku wanders off into the forest, searching for wood he could use, though most of it is frozen and wet, so he has to wander quite a bit before he even can use any usable wood. You know, you can't use wet wood. So, anyways, Deku, he's been walking through this forest for about an hour until he sees a bit of a clearing, and some girl with black hair is hunched over a campfire. As Deku wanders a bit closer, and he steps on a stick and he makes a little noise or whatever, and he alerts her, basically. As just like magic, she forms two little knives in her hand and is yelling at Deku, like, how'd you find me? Get away from me. As she points her knives at Deku, and as Deku is just like scared and terrified, he throws his hands up and pretty much just falls back. this girl then starts to hear a few people yelling in the distance, and she just takes that cue to turn tail and run, basically. So, this girl is running away from something, but Deku is too frozen to get up and run. As he thinks these people that he just heard are bad guys and they're chasing her. And she's just as dangerous, so he can't follow her apparently. But Deku, he's just standing there until these guys pretty much just find him, and they start to question him about where that girl went. Deku is too stunned to even say anything, and pretty much, long story short, he's pretty much taken hostage, because they think like those two might be friends, and if we take this guy, she might come back to save him. But little do they know, they've barely even met, can't even be called acquaintances. I guess they just know each other's faces now. And that's pretty much it. So, basically this is what Deku needed. A way to find shelter and warmth, and they pretty much provided him. At least that's what Deku thought they were going to do when they took him, but nope. So I'm not going to go into any sort of details about what happened after they took Deku. I'm gonna just do a little bit of time skip. Yes, the good old time skip. This will all make sense in the future, I swear. But let's go to when Deku is 10 now. It's yes, a 4-year time skip. That's how long these guys had kept Deku for. And well, I guess I can't go on without explaining what happened. These guys okay, let's see. So there are two separate groups of guys. The guys that captured Deku and the guys that they gave Deku to. And basically, after they found out that this girl isn't going to come back for Deku, they pretty much gave him away. But they didn't want to just set him free, because he might talk and alert the cops or whatever. So they gave him to some really shady group of people. Let's just say that there are a certain group of villains, and they did experiments on Deku, and that's pretty much all you need to know. And then they set Deku free to cultivate the powers they've given him, pretty much. And yeah, they're playing the long game as Deku. It needs time to develop what they've given him, and so they have no need to keep him there, as they don't know when he'll just go off. It's pretty much just a ticking time bomb. So they time bomb. He's a ticking time bomb, pretty much, and they don't want to be anywhere near him when he does go off. So they set him free. I say that in quotation marks, because they do keep tabs on him, but they don't bother him or what's the word I'm looking for? don't get in his way. Like they keep tabs on him, but they don't do anything if he gets in any sort of trouble or danger. They just watch him. That's it. So Deku is out on the streets in the middle of the city as a 10-year-old boy would do with no recollection of his past and no memories besides being tortured and experimented on. He grew pretty cold and quiet, and for some reason he can't seem to shake the feeling of being cold. Even after he escaped that forest and those abandoned buildings of being pretty much frozen in snow, he never felt warm. He's always cold. So he's always been wearing a hoodie, pretty much. And ever since these guys have been experimented on him and let him go, his hair's been slowly turning white. So it's over time it's just going to turn white. So if you don't know, the hair is basically the timer. When his head's fully white, that's when he'll go off. Alright, is that good enough of an explanation? So Deku's out on the city. He doesn't know how to use his quirk or even if he has one. He just knows these guys experimented on him and told him they gave him a few things that will become useful in the future. But Deku decides not to think about that. He's hungry, lost, and alone, and he's still freezing cold. So Deku does what any orphan on the street would do. At first he tries to beg, but the city is harsh and cruel. They give him squat. So he tries to steal, which he completely fails at. And you know who he tries to steal from? He tries to steal from a really nice woman with a head of green hair who would usually be his mother in a normal scene, in a normal whatever. This woman, Inko, he tries to rob Inko, but he fails completely. And Inko, being the nice woman she is, takes pity on Izuku and takes him home pretty much. Yes, she invites him to her home and helps him out pretty much. And did I mention that it's like broad day right now? That is, Inko is wondering why he wasn't in school, why he was on the streets trying to rob her in broad daylight. But anyways, she wonders this, but she doesn't question him just yet. She just offers him a bit of food and a place to stay for the night. As Deku kind of regains his faith in humankind, just a little bit. As he enjoys a nice hot meal that Inko has provided. Now, a few hours later, Deku's still there. He's I don't know, what would he be doing at this point? He'd probably be asleep. But yeah. wakes up to some girl just like screaming at him to wake up as he's in her bed pretty much. Yes, Inko has had a child. Let's name her Izumi, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this is how Deku and Izumi meet. Long story short, Inko practically adopts Izuku and names him Izuku. And Izuku and Izumi become siblings? Question mark. Their relationship's pretty rocky. But Inko sets up Deku to go to some school. He learns about heroes and stuff, and he thinks about becoming a hero. But yeah, the school asks him about quirks and stuff, but Deku tells him he doesn't really know if he has one or not. But so they write him off as quirkless, and he gets bullied as usual. Yep. So Deku is already going down a rough path, and having Izumi just like hate him doesn't help either. So his life at home sucks. His life at school sucks. So Deku was just he just hate life pretty much, but he still wants to be a hero. So he trains him. He trains his body. He starts to work out and stuff. Yeah, whatever. So another bit of a time skip. Deku and Izumi never really gets along at all, but they pretend to be friendly in front of Inko because they love their mother. They don't want her to be a part of their little feud they have going on, or whatever's going on. They just can't seem to get along. And oh yeah, Bakugo still gave him the nickname as Deku. Yeah, they still went to the same school with Bakugo. Things happen. And Bakugo's his main bully along with Izumi. And so let's see, the sledge villain incident. Deku doesn't get caught in that, but you know what? Izumi gets caught in it, and All Might saved her, and then pretty much the same thing happened as in canon, but with Izumi. And All Might dropped the bottle. Izumi found out about All Might and his injury, and Bakugo gets caught up in the sledge villain, and Deku is nowhere to be found, and Izumi and Bakugo had a little thing, I don't know what to call it, and then All Might talked to Izumi about ending her quirk and whatever, but so something like that. So Izumi's getting trained by All Might, and Deku's still training himself. But the thing with being self-taught is you never really know if it's working or not. So yeah, it's not doing too good. So time skip to the entrance exam. No, not the entrance. Before that, do I word this? Yeah, the night before. No, no. Let's just go ahead to the entrance exam. So the entrance exam, Deku actually oversleeps. He overslept that night. Like he went to bed so late that he couldn't get up, even when his mother tried to wake him. So she gave up trying to wake him up, and Izumi never really tried to. But yeah. So while the entrance exam is going on, Deku is soundly asleep as he's having a pretty bad nightmare, pretty much. As there's just voices going off in his head as he thinks he's going crazy, pretty much. As there's just loud groans and moans and stuff. As these voices are just rattling around in his head, and it's crazy that he's even still sleeping with how much noise is going on in his head. But it's like you know how when Naruto can talk to the nine-tailed fox, it's kind of like that, and he's in his mindscape. Yeah, that's what it's called. There's just these faceless beings just running around in his head as he tries to get them to quiet down, but it's not working. They're not really responding to him, as he can't really control them either. And he's just wondering what to do and what's even happening. And until finally he wakes up, and then, he wakes up all sweaty like, and then he realizes what today is. It's the day of the entrance exam. He's like, oh snap, I'm late. And he rushes over to UA. And when he gets there, the entrance exam has already started. What's it called? The test where you fight the robots. Yeah, that has already started. And he's like really late that if he joined at this point, he wouldn't really be able to do much. As he tries to plead and beg with what's his name? Nasu, the principal, and Aizawa, as those are the only two out there to tell him that he's too late. And he has to try again next year. This Deku is all like, I can't wait that long. Please, just let me try. Just let me try. As he's like begging with them, and they're like, be a hero, attendance is important. We can't expect you to save anybody when you're 2 hours late. They could be dead by the time you arrive. How will you get anything done if you're always late? We need heroes that will be on time. And you, sir, were not on time. So, long story short, they didn't let Deku in. Deku's heartbroken as he's taking it as if like they're saying he can't be a hero, and he's like, fine then, if I can't be a hero, then I'll as Deku, he starts to clench his heart as it's beating pretty rapidly, as Nezu and All Might starts just look at him as if he's going crazy. But Deku's having a hard time breathing right now, and then he just passes out on the ground. And at this point, all his hair has turned white, and this purple smoke erupts from out of him as it starts to fill the air and flow rapidly. Deku collapsed right inside the gates of UA, the UA barrier. Right when he was leaving, walking out, he collapsed and emitted this purple smoke. Aizawa and Nezu weren't that close to him, but once they saw the smoke was coming out of him, Aizawa picked up the principal and ran inside the UA building to alert the heroes, or some other heroes that could deal with it. Because Aizawa did try to erase Deku's quirk, but that smoke grew really fast and really thick. He couldn't really see Deku through it, so he couldn't stop whatever it was. So this smoke is essentially the virus. This is what starts it. As at the moment, it only affects quirkless people. So, but if someone with a quirk were to be caught in it, they would essentially carry it with them until they come in contact with quirkless person. Then the quirkless person will become a zombie and pretty much fight the person that just handed them the virus and turned them into a zombie as well. So, anyways, as there were plenty of civilians there waiting for their children to get done with the test, and some siblings, some people just walking by. A lot of people got infected by it just from Deku being there. And it went to mayhem pretty quickly, but the smoke wasn't able to spread too far, as the hero 13 was able to come out and absorb it all, with the black hole and all. But the problem is, after they absorbed all that smoke, they became unresponsive. Even though they had a quirk and were pretty much immune to the early stages of the virus that spread it, after they absorbed all that smoke or mist or whatever you want to call it, they just froze in place. They weren't able to move or do anything until suddenly they just started to absorb everything. They started to absorb the ground, parts of the building of UA, and even a few of the zombies that were trying to make it through the gate. Aizawa was pretty quick to see that 13 was out of control, and absorbing that mist must have done something to them. As Aizawa canceled the 13's quirk, and that stopped them from destroying anything. And let's say Cementos was there, and they just covered 13 in a bunch of cement to stop them from moving or even trying to activate their quirk again. And so what ended up happening is that the heroes had to deal with a bunch of zombies. But more on that on a later date. Jeez, this was I've been gone for far too long. Um, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Like if you like, subscribe if you wanna, and comment down below if you enjoyed or not. Oh, and that girl I mentioned at the start of this, I'm gonna need a name for her. She will be important later. She will make an appearance. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Glad to be back. And shout out to this guy for telling me to get off my lazy tail and start recording again. But when I had sent this message, I did plan on recording the next week, like literally. But yeah, I just couldn't get started. So now here I am starting again. I hope I can be more consistent now. Hopefully, we'll see what happens in the future. Thanks to all of you for listening to my ramblings on, and I see you in the next one. And again, like if you like, subscribe if you want, and comment down below if you enjoyed. I need a name for that girl I mentioned in the beginning.